Hey guys, welcome back to Senegalese Twisted. I am back again with another review of Maîtresse de nos mariés. Before I start, I just made it into 4 sections. So there is the time before the baby shower, the police investigation, and the after the police investigation. Okay, the police inquiry starts and Inspector Camara is with Biram and Cher, and he's saying, you know what, there's news and I need the names and addresses of everyone who has access to this building site and also all your employees. And Biram says, you know what, I'll take care of it. And he's actually asking, like, what is it, one of our employees who might have done this, etc., because this building has not been touched for 6 months. He's like, oh well, 6 months, that's exactly the last time where someone saw Bakary Sagna and everything. However, he just still needs the list of everyone who worked there and whatever. So then there's a news flash. There's a body found at Senegindia, and Jalika and her mom are talking, and then they see the news flash. And she calls Biram for information because she's like, whoa, what is happening? And is it someone who fell? Is it like an employee? And then she and her mom are talking and they're like, how can you die and then nobody knows that you were dead? And she's saying that she has a lot of pity for the family, not knowing it's her dad. Maîtresse and Alida are talking, and Maîtresse is just reiterating that, you know, a dead body found at Senegindia, that is not good for business. You actually see that Alida is planting listening devices in the offices of Rocky and Biram. When Rocky found out that RX 2035 is where Bakary Sagna was, she immediately comes back from her honeymoon. And even Biram is like, what? Did you just cut your honeymoon short just to ask questions? Because she's asking 1,001 questions about the dead body found and yada yada yada. And even Biram is like teasing her. He's like, whoa, it seems like you killed this person. And she's like, oh my god, she's so much in shock. And she even yells that she didn't. And I was like, sis, the guilt is all over you, you know? And then she goes to her office and she calls Mustafa, and she's saying in the phone that, Mustafa, I can't stay here, I can't be here, because it's like everyone knows that I killed Bakary Sagna and everyone can see it on my face. I'm going home. Then she grabs her bag and then she's out, not knowing there's a listening device planted. Then Jalika and Maîtresse talk about what happened with the dead body and everything. And Maîtresse actually tells Jalika about Salif and that she told Salif everything. And she also says, honestly, you know, I'm afraid to love again. However, Jalika is really supportive, and she's saying that, you know what, whatever happened, you are still deserving of love and everything that you actually want. And I think that that was really sweet. And yeah, then you have Alida, who gets the tapes back from the offices of Biram and Rocky and gives them to Maîtresse. However, the main goal for Maîtresse to put these tapes in their office was actually to listen to what Biram and Rocky had to say about them and how they thought about them, and then see what their strategy would be in dealing with her, so she would be a couple of steps ahead. However, she found out that Rocky was the one who killed Bakary Sagna. On top of that, she calls Alida and she's like, oh my god, Alida, this is so bad, come with me. And this is only because Alida does not speak any Wolof. Inspector Camara actually calls Biram and Cher and tells them, you know what, the dead body, it is indeed Bakary Sagna. And they are really sad. They're crying, screaming, and Mansoura goes out of the office and says and calls Rocky to tell her, you know what, there's an emergency meeting, you need to come back. And the next scene is that Rocky's on the couch, she's crying and crying and crying, and Mustafa is telling her, you know, you need to get up, you need to do what you need to do. And he says that he will be there, all will be good, and they need to just make sure that they are not being caught. They just need to be off the radar of the police and make sure that they won't be, you know, targets or, you know, person of interest. And he's telling her, you know, don't be afraid, we will manage this. However, she seems so helpless. In the next scene, you see that the inspector is actually at Jalika and her mom's house, and he brought Biram and Cher. She doesn't understand because she's like, what are you doing here, Inspector? Why are these people here, like Biram and Cher? She asks Cher, like, what is it? Like, tell me what it is, because Biram didn't want to tell her, and he starts crying. And she then hears that the dead body is Bakary Sagna's body, and she's actually so sad. She even hits the detective, and the detective is like, you know what, I need to extract myself from this situation, and he leaves. Then Rocky needs to go to the funeral, and she looks like a crazy person, and she's even telling Mustafa that, you know what, I'll crack. These people just have to look at me and I know that they will know, and I'll tell them. Telling her that, you know what, you don't even have to talk, but you need to show your face. And then she goes to her mom, and her mom consoles her. She's crying, and her mom doesn't understand because, first of all, Bakary Sagna was her rapist when she was a child, and he just was a bad man. However, she's not crying because she's sad the man is dead. She's sad because she thinks she's going to jail. You know, can remember, she's like, yeah, well, but you actually wished he was dead. And she was like, yes, I did wish that. However, if I find the people who did it, I will go to their house and shame them, not knowing it was her own child. The day of the funeral, again, it's like the baby shower. Everyone is there. Marem is there with her mom, and with Amsa, and Marem's mom actually happens to get into a room, and in that room there's a picture of Bakary Sagna, and she's like looking at the picture, and she's like, oh, that's Marem's dad. Amsa's like, no, that's Jalika's dad. And then she insists that, you know, it's Marem's dad. And it's crazy because I knew from the beginning that Bakary Sagna was Marem's dad. Je le savais. At one point, Marem's mom actually goes into a room and she sees the picture of Bakary Sagna. And when she sees the picture, she's like, this is Marem's dad. However, Amsa is with her and she's like, no, it's Jalika's dad. He's the one who died. And she's like, oh, so this is the person who died, you know? It doesn't seem like she understands what's happening. However, she does seem to be sure that that person is Marem's dad. And whenever Amsa takes Marem's mom outside, they pass Mère Diagne. And it seems like Mère Diagne is recognizing Marem's mom. They pass each other, and Mère Diagne is like hesitating whether or not she should follow them downstairs or outside. And then she does. And then they're outside, and she looks at Marem's mom and she's like, Njawa, is that you? And Amsa was on the phone, and then she, you know, stops and she's like, Mère Diagne, please stop harassing us. Don't act like you know everyone. And she's like asking whether she knows her, and she's like, yes, but why do you know her? And she's like, this is Marem's mom. And then it's like big shock. At the same time, Marem is upstairs and she's asking after Rocky. She's like, Rocky, can I speak to you in private? And Rocky's like, no, you can't. And then Rocky's mom is even, you know, starting to talk as well. And Marem is saying that it's better to talk to me than talk to the police because I know what you did. Still, she's being moved away because Amsa is also coming upstairs. Cher, your mom is downstairs and she's unwell. Marem is like, what happened? And she's like, well, she just saw your mom and now she's unwell. And she's like, I hope your mom didn't do anything to my mom. And then they all go downstairs. Then you have Ben who's asking to talk with Dalanda, and she's asking Dalanda, like, you know, what's occupying your mind lately? And they just started talking, and Dalanda just tells Ben that, you know what, nothing is wrong, you don't need to know anything, nothing new, I'm good. Clearly Ben already knows that Dalanda is pregnant, and she's using that because she's telling Dalanda that, you know what, you know the weakness of Tairu. Tairu thinks he's a god, however he has a weakness, and his weakness is children. She's just hinting at Dalanda that, you know what, if you really want Tairu back, you know what to do, which is keep the baby, or just tell him that you're pregnant. It's good to see that Ben is actually not the evil sister-in-law, because I think that Dalanda and Regina are sisters or cousins, but at least they're family. Okay, so it starts off with Regina saying that, you know, I didn't give it to him because he didn't want to sign and I can't force him. And then she starts saying that, you know what, I don't want you to die. And then Dalanda is like saying that it seems like you're worried about me. And then everything comes out. Regina's like, you have been everything that I never was. They used to compare us in our family, and that's why I think they are related. And they used to compare us, and you were the prodigy, you were blessed, you were beautiful, also light-skinned. I was the ugly duckling, I was dark, so I was uglier. I was bigger, so I was not fashionable. It used to hurt her. They even said to her that if Cherno, the guy that went on a date with Amsa and Tairu's friend, would marry her, they would not get a lot of blessings. Because she was good at her job, Regina, that's what gave her confidence. She thinks that she's beautiful today. She thinks she's beautiful. She's smart. She's strong. And then Dalanda's like, yeah, I am actually afraid that society will judge the twins that way as well. Because the twins, they don't look like their mom. The twins are a bit bigger, but that doesn't equal ugly, you know. And I think that is really beautiful that they put that in Senegal. They love comparing, like, if you don't look like your mom and everything, like, you're not as beautiful as your mom, you know. That is something that you hear a lot, and that really can mess with someone's self-esteem. And I think that is really good that Dalanda brought this up, especially as it relates to Regina. That's also what she said, because she's afraid that society will judge them that way because they don't look like their mom, and that society will judge how they look. I think at the end, you know, Regina is saying that, you know what, I know you guys love each other. She knows that Dalanda does not want to abort. However, Dalanda just wants Tairu to sign the papers. And Regina is even asking her, like, are you sure? And she's like, yes, I don't. And don't think that you influenced me, or that I'm just, you know, following your advice without feeling it. Actually, I just want a new life. So Siaka and Mommy have another confrontation, and this one is the worst one yet, because okay, so Mommy doesn't want to abort, and Siaka just wants to force her to abort the child. And she is saying that, you know what, I'm sick and tired of you, just leave me the F alone. And she's saying that she does not want to abort, and he doesn't have to acknowledge paternity. He does not have to acknowledge the child. She'll leave the father's side blank on the birth certificate, and that if in the country, if you don't acknowledge paternity, no one can force you to pay child support. However, Siaka does not believe it, because Siaka didn't go to school. However, he acts like he knows stuff. So she's like telling him that, you know, it's in code 215 and 218 of the Code de la Famille, because in Senegal there's this whole document, and the document talks about what people's rights are within a family. And it says that if you don't acknowledge the child, no one can force you to pay child support. He still doesn't believe it. So mommy tells him, you didn't study, that's why you don't know, because you're dumb. And then he threatens her and he kicks her to the ground. That's really weak. So then there's a scene of Jalika's mom and Marié, because Marié is telling Jalika's mom, you know what, you should be ashamed, because the veil you're wearing for your husband's funeral doesn't belong to you. And she's just hinting that it belongs to Marem's mom, Jawa, because that was her man first. Eventually she's saying, you have to tell Jalika that she has a sister. You need to go to Njawa and ask Njawa for forgiveness. You are bad. You ruined me. You ruined my friendship with Njawa. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is going to be a long video. I'm sorry in advance. Go to Senegalesetwisted.com for my latest blog posts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I see you guys in my next video.